on something like MLG. He wants to move outside of Korea and focus on those competitions more. Now, whether that means he would choose that over GSL, I don't know. We'll see, I guess, over the next couple of seasons what exactly Idra's list of priorities will be.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There might be even some more crazy stuff that even happens. I don't really know. I mean, going over there to Korea is a big, big commitment, and Greg has been over there for quite some time, longer than anyone else. So maybe he'll stay. Maybe he'll get tired of it. I don't know. Who really knows with Idra? He doesn't really speak too much in the public eye unless he's interviewed. Maybe he's actually said something about that in the other interview. You'll have to go check it and read it out. He was also featured on Imbalanced Episode 2. It's Idra and Artosis' ironic show. And they talked about Terran versus Protoss openings. It was about a 50-minute episode. You can, of course, find that on Artosis TV, the YouTube channel. Pretty awesome stuff. It's very, very good to see those two type of players, and also the commentator that Artosis is, kind of talking about the balance of the game so much. It's really, really good to see that. Did you actually watch the entire thing?
God, no. I might watch it because I do play Terran, so this will apply to me, and I'm sure there are some good ideas. But to be perfectly honest, it scares the living bejesus out of me to listen to an hour of those two talk about balance. It really does. I'm sure they're smart as hell, but it just scares me.
Well, to each his own, to each his own. So.
But moving on, right now we are going to talk about the GSL Team League. Let me just say, if you haven't watched this, first of all, we're going to spoil it, but if you haven't watched this, drop what you're doing. Like, I don't care what you're doing. If you're doing tax returns, drop it, cancel it, go to Gon TV, watch it. Pay the $5. It's $4.95 American. It's so worth it. It's the best day of GSL thus far. It has probably the best Starcraft 2 game since beta started, and a couple of the top like 10 or 20 ever. It's been incredible. So stop what you're doing. If you don't want to know, we're going to spoil it. What did you think of today, JP?
I mean, it was actually... I was really, really tired going into it when it started last night about 3 a.m., but around 7 o'clock when it actually finished, I was so happy that I stayed up and watched that live. I mean, it means a lot when Artosis is actually losing his voice and cannot go any higher than a certain decibel, or a certain pitch, excuse me, when he's screaming after a win. It was... really, really ridiculous to see that. I mean, some of the games, we started out with Truman against Junwei. Pretty good game. Truman, of course, played against Yonghua, who we saw the day prior, I believe, get 3 kills for IM when he played with also Lucera. Lucera and Yonghua actually took out Zenix, I believe, the day before. So he played against Virus and Truman, took them out. Then ST decided to throw in July to take out Yonghua. That was a pretty crazy game. And, I mean, it was great play from both players, really. But July came out the victor there. Locera was thrown in when a lot of people were thinking that Nest T would be put in right after that. And ended up taking July out in a pretty good game on Crossfire. It was very back and forth, as ZVZ tends to be. And the next game was... It was a weird game, man. I mean, we had Bomber from StarTel coming in against Locera on Lost Temple, and that was just it was weird because there was so much like trash talk in the game that really shouldn't have been because they actually lost. Like Locera started dancing his units inside of Bomber's base when he shouldn't have, and he lost a couple lings. And then Bomber started dancing Marines in Locera's base when he shouldn't have, and he lost that. Yeah. It was actually absurd, and then after the game, there's an incredible celebration ceremony where Ace came out from StarTel and like danced in front of the other team. It was actually incredible to see that. I could not have asked for anything better, except for the next 2 games, because these are like the tip-top games that have happened in StarCraft 2. We had MVP being put in from IM against Bomber on Tal'Darim Altar. It was actually one of the craziest TVTs. MVP, I don't know how in the world you came back and won that, but I will definitely be checking that game out again and possibly a third time and showing it to everyone that I possibly can. MVP is just that damn good in TVT. And then the next game, the number 1 game as far as I'm concerned right now in StarCraft 2 of all time, Squirtle versus MVP. I've already said a lot about this. You can hype this one up because it's actually an incredible match. What did you think about that match, Patrick?
All right, well, first of all, let me completely agree that this was the best game in StarCraft 2 history. I don't know how anyone could disagree with that. I mean, there have been some good games. For instance, someone's going to say, oh, what about games with motherships? Well, this had 2 motherships.
Yeah, it had
so
2.
You're wrong.
It had 2.
First of all, maxed out armies, like, this is the fruit that the bigger maps have bore. Like, this is what the big maps are going to bring us. Awesome games. I would say that this GSTL tournament has really shown us how right everyone was that we need bigger maps, and them in particular really did it. It was back and forth, constantly. There were about 4 or 5 times where I was pretty sure one or the other person would win. Nope, not at all. Until finally, Squirtle came back like 30 or 40 minutes into the game and just came through MVP, who had finally stopped mining, and finally Squirtle won it. And then I was sure Squirtle was going to take it, because after a game like that, how could Squirtle lose? But of course, IM has the deepest lineup in the goddamn world.
Yeah, they really do.
After MVP loses, who do they have to throw out? Oh, no one. Nesty, of course. So it was Nesty versus Squirtle on Xel'Naga Caverns. Squirtle comes out, and this was a short game, but to be perfectly honest, it was like a 13, 14-minute game.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing for a 14-minute game. I mean, you could only get so good in 14 minutes. It was pretty awesome. Squirtle almost had it in the beginning. Nesty hung on by a thread and then came back with just nonstop pressure, and won it, and then the confetti was flying. It was amazing. My heart's fluttering just thinking about it now. It was awesome. I was rooting for IM. How about you?
I went into it thinking that it was I actually said it was gonna be like a 5-2 for IM, and it ended up being probably the most incredible match that we could have had. And I'm really glad that it did. I didn't think StarTel would do that well, but I mean, it really shows to kind of the skill level in Korea and how many good players there are that we don't even know about over there right now.
Bomber and Squirtle are amazing, and they're not in Code S. What is going on?
It's actually
Bomber and Squirtle are so good. I gotta tell you, I have no idea what's going on with. If I had to rank the players, it's difficult. It's awesome though. I love it because it's not as though these guys are coming quite out of nowhere. Bomber especially has had a reputation, and Squirtle got the all kill. So it's very cool seeing these guys with reputations coming and living up to it. Yeah. Very, very cool stuff. Overall, it was awesome. Watch it.
Yeah, that's actually incredible. You can just go check that out, comtv.net. It's worth the $5. And that is going to do it here for SC Center on this Thursday, the 10th of February. We'll be back tomorrow with the weekend edition of SC Center. Of course, you could follow me and Patrick on Twitter at twitter.com/itmejp and twitter.com/chobopeon. Please go and support SC Center any way you can. Tell your friends about it. Go post on the Team Liquid thread. Post in the comments. Just link it all around.
Tweet it.
Yeah, tweet it. We just need as much exposure as possible with this show because we're putting a lot of production value into it and really spending a lot of time on a day-to-day basis. So thanks again. We will see you guys tomorrow.